Good morning or afternoon. Welcome back to the library. I told you about this shelf that's to my left. It's a shelf of my all-time favorite books, the books that have shaped me and guided me, sometimes for a period of time, sometimes for the entire career. There's nothing that ministers obsess about more than trying to discover their calling. Now, I absolutely think that is something that we all really obsess about, is what is our purpose? What is our calling? You could be lucky enough to get your calling in a vocation, a way that you actually put food on the table. But most likely, it's an avocation, which means that for your day job, you are an insurance agent. But in your avocation, you really love coaching soccer, or your avocation could be teaching Sunday school. I think this book helped me live more fully into my vocation and find ways to think about it and perhaps even engage God in better ways. And it's called Let Your Life Speak by Parker Palmer. A beautifully written book, filled with the Spirit. I'm just going to read you a few selections that are highlighted and circled. Not going to make much comment on them, but I think they speak for themselves. Remember, it's Let Your Life Speak. Listening for your voice, a vocation. There is a Hasidic tale that reveals with amazing brevity both the universal tendency to want to become someone else and the ultimate importance of becoming one's self. Rabbi Zusa, when he was an old man, said, "In the coming world, they will not ask me, 'Why were you not Moses?' They will ask you, 'Why were you not Zusa?' Why were you not your full self? Why did you not live fully into exactly who you are?" The trouble with most of us is we do try to fit in with what is current and what is popular and what seems to be successful. Before I read Parker Palmer, I listened to Jimmy Buffett. And Jimmy Buffett had a great way of putting it. "I guess I was never meant for glitter rock and roll. I got my hush puppies on." He knew who he was. He wasn't Kiss. He wasn't Boston. He wasn't Led Zeppelin. He was a guy who liked to wear flip-flops and hush puppies and short pants and sing songs about the beach. He made a pretty good living doing that. I think we all would be better off living into exactly who we are, because we're not going to be asked, "Why were you not Moses?" We're going to be asked, "Why were you not John?" Oh, here's one of my old favorites. True vocation joins self and service. As Frederick Buechner, another one of the books up here, asserts when he defines vocation as the place where your deep gladness meets the world's deep need. That's a great way to think about vocation. Where your deep gladness meets the world's deep need. Yeah. This is concerning living boldly into exactly who you are in a world that doesn't want you to necessarily live that way. People come to a point where they decide to live divided no more. They decide no longer to act on the outside in a way that contradicts some truth about themselves that they hold deeply on the inside. They decide to claim authentic selfhood and act it out. And their decision ripples out to transform the society in which they live, serving the selfhood of millions of others. I call this the Rosa Parks decision, because that remarkable woman, she would not live an undivided life. Most of us know her story, the story of an African-American woman who at the time she made her decision was a seamstress in her 40s. On December 1st, 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks did something she was not supposed to do. She sat at the front of the bus in one of the seats reserved for whites, a dangerous, daring, and provocative act in a racist society. Legend has it that years later, a graduate student came to Rosa Parks and asked, "Why did you sit down at the front of the bus that day?" Rosa Parks did not say that she sat down to launch a movement, because her motives were more elementary than that. She said, "I sat down because I was tired." But I don't think she meant her feet were tired. She meant that her soul was tired, her heart was tired, her whole being was tired of playing by racist rules and denying her soul's claim on selfhood. Oh, that's so beautiful. So beautiful. In the Rosa Parks story, that insight emerges in a wonderful way. After she had sat at the front of the bus for a while, the police came aboard and said, "You know, if you continue to sit there, we're going to have to throw you in jail." And Rosa Parks replied, "You may do that," which is a very polite way of saying, what could your jail of stone and steel possibly mean to me compared to the self-imposed imprisonment I've suffered for 40 years? I just walked out of a prison, refusing to conspire any longer with this racist system. It takes a little boldness to live fully into who we are. I'll close with this final story. It's called A Way Will Open. It's a funny story, and it's the only way that it's actually so humorous is because it's so Quaker. Parker Palmer is a Quaker, and he said he was just struggling sometime to discern what God wanted him to do and how he should live his future, and that there was a very devout woman that he trusted a lot, and that whenever he went to her for counsel, she would say, "The way will open. The way will open." And so I would sit there in silence, he said, and wait for the way to open. And I'd see Ruth a few days later, and I'd say, "I'm not getting anywhere, Ruth." And she'd say, the way will open. The way will open. And then finally one day, he cornered Ruth, and this is their exchange. Ruth's reply was a model of Quaker plain speaking. "I'm a birthright friend, a birthright Quaker," she said somberly. "In 60 plus years of living, way has never opened for me." She paused and started sinking into despair. Was this wise woman telling me that the Quaker concept of God's guidance was a hoax? And then she spoke again, and this time with a little sly grin. "But a lot of way has closed behind me, and that's had the same guiding effect." The way will open, and sometimes the way it opens is by seeing what is closing. Well, I hope this will help you. Hope you'll run out and actually purchase this one. All right? Listening or Let Your Life Speak.